Wash Exchange, where we have real stories and real results. And today we've got Glenn Vanderberg from the Car Wash Supply Company. Welcome to the Wash Exchange, Glenn.
Hey Blair, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So I think I first met you probably some 20 years ago. But I may have had hair, may not have, but you're a technician at the time, I think, for Wash Tech. Just give us a bit of a overview of your history in the car wash industry, and then we'll talk about Car Wash Supply Co.
Yeah, I've been in it just a little bit over 20 years now. So started off at Wash Tech as a service tech and worked there for a couple of years. Decided to go out for myself, and Kevin Foley at the time asked me to come back and start installing equipment. So that's 18 odd years of installing everything from vending machines right through to truck washers and recycle systems and automatics and everything. So
Geez, you've probably seen more of the country than most others, and
yeah,
probably seen a lot more car washes than most others.
yeah, we've done a lot of travel over the years, and yeah, I'm guessing probably in excess of 200 car washes at this point.
Wow. So that would have been Mark 7, Wash Tech, their self-serve, the whole gamut,
Yep.
tunnels.
Yeah, everything from the original CK30s and yeah, the Mark 7s. We've done a few Istabels over the years with Good Sight as well, and even we've done a few lasers with Glenn at one stop down here in Victoria as well. So
Yep.
done a couple of really big tunnels through Canberra region, and yeah, lots of really large truck washers as well.
Yeah. Was that the Rob Sacco's tunnel? Did you do that?
Yeah, so we definitely we supplied a fair chunk of the labour on those, and yeah,
That's
the
very
first one to
good.
go in Garland, me and Jack largely did most of that ourselves, and Sandra came on board in the middle. So
Sure. Yep. So fast forward 20 years of grinding it out. Now you've decided to start your own company. And one thing about the Wash Exchange is we welcome anyone on here. We don't have any commercial arrangement. We don't supply to Glen any products. We have used them with his electrical services. So full transparency. There's no nothing hidden agenda here. So tell us about Supply Company, when you started it, and what you're doing with it.
yeah, so we started Car Supply Co. a little over 2 years ago. We sort of saw that there was a lot of people in the market that were looking for equipment and a supplier that they could really trust to make sure they were looked after sales. And so we started having a look around at different equipment to bring in, and we had a bit of a look at Christ, which would have pretty much directly competed with WashTech and Goodside and the Istabel equipment there. So we sort of thought that market was pretty well covered, and we actually had a customer introduce us to the Pettit equipment, and he asked whether we would install one of these machines for him. We'd never heard of them before, and we had a bit of a look into it, started doing a bit of research, and it all sounded very good. And Jackson and myself flew over to New Zealand, and they had a couple of machines in there with Hugh Gardner already, and went and checked out Swish Wash in Palmerston North, and
Yep.
was blown away with the machine. Within 5 seconds of being in the wash, we could tell it was going to clean really, really well, and it was a very different experience. So got in contact with the Pettit guys, and yeah, 2 years later we've got 15, 16 machines out there, and
Wow.
we're going to do probably another 10 to 12 this year. So
That's a good start. Yeah, I've seen Hugh over in New Zealand. He's a bit of a character, Hugh, but he's done
he's a
well.
great one. Yeah,
Yeah, good guy. But
yeah, he is. Yeah.
so 15, 16 machines in a small period of time. I mean, why I reached out to you for this interview is that I've come across your machines and I'm impressed by a couple of things, a little bit different. Um, I guess you can explain better than I can, but one thing I noticed is the speed of them. And then one thing that I saw as a drawback, which you might be able to straighten me out on, is the drive-through dryer. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, certainly. So, probably the main feature of the Pettit, the way the machine's been designed, is to maximise the throughput. You know, the more cars you can wash per hour, the more money you're going to make. So, I initially thought that would be a really big sort of selling point here in Australia, but uh, although it's an important factor, a lot of people are more interested in the reliability of the equipment. So, obviously on sites that are limited on space, we can wash a car down to 2 minutes if you really want to.
Wow.
Most of the sites here that we've got running are all running about a 3.5 minute wash cycle, 3 to 3.5 minute, and that sort of balances wash quality and speed. For a lot of those sites, it's alleviated a lot of the queuing issues that they have, and picking up those customers that drive away. So you sort of compared to most other touch frees in the market, it's probably close to half the wash cycle time. So
Yeah, it's an interesting point because you get a lot of people here say, wash operators, and I'm always trying to encourage them to speed up their wash. Not so good for the chemistry guys like ourselves, but when you're
yeah,
washing a 6 minute cycle, you're 3 cars deep. It's not 18 minutes. It's probably like more like 25 minutes. But
yeah,
the number one thing the operators are saying to me is, well, we're charging $25. If it's over in 3 minutes, they don't see value for money. Like, what? How do you?
yeah. So that's been a little bit of a learning curve for us on that side of things as well, because as we're saying, with especially with the rollover machines, they're pushing 8 to 10 minutes. So if you've got 2 or 3 cars in a line, that fourth customer's waiting 45. So with where the value is there for the customer is, number one, you're obviously selling a clean car at the end of the day. That's what they come to the site for. But you're also selling the convenience that they can get in and get out and get on with their day quickly. They're not going to be wasting an hour waiting for a wash. So I think that that convenience is very valuable to the customer as well. And most of the sites that we've seen, or pretty much all the sites we've done so far, are all reloads, and all of those sites have seen a pretty markable increase in their wash numbers. So I think the customers enjoy it. The experience of going through the wash is quite a lot different. You feel the car, you feel the pressure, and you feel the car rocking and rolling and moving, because the pressure that we're generating there is the two Cat 35s is quite different than a standard LR machine or even a brush machine. So there's plenty of show and theatre for the customer sitting in the car, and on the whole, everyone's been enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to see them in Splash, one of our biggest customers in the States, in Connecticut, where they have them in the tunnel
Yeah.
after the car's loaded on, just to keep them flowing. And they do have those big pumps. How do you go with water on site? Like, are they just, I suppose
Yeah.
they
So
for a period of time, or?
yeah, water and chemicals obviously an important consideration. In reality, because we're able to do just a singular high pressure pass, and that's enough to clean and move the dirt off the vehicle, we're really no more or less than most of the other machines that we've seen out there in the market. So a 6 pass wash, which is sort of our middle speed, is around the sort of 240 to 260, 270 mark in litres per wash.
Yep.
And that's sort of ranging anywhere from $1.50 to $2 on chemical as well.
So it's probably not too much similar. It's very similar to a PDQ or a.
Yeah. Yeah. The only real consideration you need that sites need to be aware of there is that, yeah, per wash, you're using the same amount, but the washes are happening twice as fast. So generally you just need to consider that with your oil separators and things like that as well. But the actual overall usage per car, and which is really the important calculation that you're making there, is roughly the same.
Yeah, and I'm a bit of a dinosaur, been around a long time now. So the dryers, they're a little bit different. You're relying on the car the driver to drive through the dryers.
Yes.
How have you found that? Like, has that been a.
Yeah, it's a little bit of customer training there. Obviously, goes a long way. So, say for instance, EnviroWash, Kirrawee and Caringbah, we spent a week or so on site after we finished with the site managers, just chatting with customers and showing them, once they've been through the wash once and they get the idea that the machines are not going to drive up and down and dry their car, and they pull forward and they see the countdown timer, they know how much time they've got left, and they pick it up very, very quickly. And you go back to that site now and they wash some very good numbers there, and you watch every car go through, and they've got a good handle on how to use the dryers. And they're obviously not going to be as intensive as a full rollover dryer, but as long as you've got your chemistry right and using good quality waxes and have good water prep on the way in as well, is obviously quite an important factor. They dry reasonably well.
All right, yeah. So we've got a car wash at, just call it 3.5 minutes. So we're doing 16, 17 cars an hour, give or take.
Yeah.
So do you sort of sit between a traditional touch-free and a tunnel?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good description of where we're at. We can obviously set the machine up to give you a 6 or 8 minute wash if you really want it. You definitely don't see that there's any benefit. You're just going to use a lot more water, a lot more chemical doing that. And for a little bit extra show for the customer, I don't think it's worthwhile. I think the whole machine is designed to be very, very fast. And obviously, as I was saying before, the the more cars now that you can wash, the more money you're going to make in your business. So I think it slots nicely between the express tunnel and an M bay. It's probably slightly cheaper. You run a couple of pellets side by side. Your initial cost is probably slightly lower than a tunnel. Gives you a little bit of redundancy there, as well. If something fails, you've still got a second bay to wash through. And then at the other end of the scale, if you're a site that only has the ability to have a single auto bay or things like that, you're already maxed out on that wash, you can go to a pettit and wash more cars per hour as opposed to having to either change your building or add a second auto. So yeah, I think we slot nicely in there.
And what about, with, you've said you've done, how many did you say? 17 over 2 years. That's
Yeah, we've got 16. We're sort of hoping to do 2 or 3 in the first year, and we ended up doing 7 in the first year, and we've done another 9 this year. So
how's that look like with your team? You got a few guys on the ground, like
yeah,
that's
so
a lot in this period of time.
yeah. So we've always sort of run around 3 to 5 guys, depending on what we've got workload wise. But we've got a team of 5 at the moment. So we've got a full-time service manager just to make sure that the customers are being looked after. And then we've got Jackson, myself, Morgan, and we've got a couple of subcontractors that we'll bring in depending on the size of the job. So we've just finished Carlotta's in Newcastle, which is three pettits side by side there. A very, very busy site. So it's a major consideration of downtime there. So we brought 2 subcontractors in on that and managed to knock that out in about 2.5, 3 weeks.
I think that's one of the busiest sites in Australia. It's funny, we had an interview with Greg Cummings the other day that's veteran, and he actually got into the car washing through Steve Spencer, which is now there's some Mark's running.
Yeah. Steve actually popped through while we're there just finishing up the install. So
good.
yeah, it's an incredibly busy site. Even when it's raining, it's the second the rain stops, the cars just start lining up again. So it was a consideration from Mark there that there's a cost with the install, so and having the machine shut down. So we're able to basically keep one of his bays open at all times. So we've shut the first bay down, got the pettit in there and got it running, and then proceeded to shut the second 2 bays down. So he had a machine running at all times there, which was good.
Must have done a good job because he's a good guy, but he's a hard taskmaster, both him and Steve.
Come up really well. We installed about 500 odd metres of stainless tubing and 3 to 4 kilometres of MDP tubing there as well. So it was a big install with a remote plant room, but it's come up really, really well. So very excited about that one.
So what's the biggest challenge for you, bringing a new product to Australia? I mean, it's boomed by the sounds of it. I'm surprised how many you've sold. I have seen a few out there up in Queensland up here, but
yeah.
Biggest challenge for you?
Obviously, brand recognition, just getting the brand name out there. As I was saying, we've been in the car wash game a long time. We've never heard of Pettit. So you find a real mix with customers. Some people have done all their research and know everything about the machine before they even get to us. And other people just see the website and just inquire and we can sort of explain the benefits of the machine. But getting, just getting the brand out there has been a bit of a challenge. The travel, obviously, the first 5 machines we've sold are all in Queensland, Brisbane, and Sydney. We've just
that's where I've seen them.
Yeah, 3 down here in Melbourne, which is nice to have a couple closer to home. Next year we'll have quite a few going over to Perth and some more back to New South Wales as well, and to Brisbane. So travel is always a little tricky, but it's just part of the job doing what we do. So
and do you still do external work with the?
Yeah, we're still as we've got capacity, we're still helping out the WashTech guys and doing some of their install work, and so that's probably dropping off a little bit more now, but as we've got capacity, we help out where we can.
Sure. And what do you think about the future of the Australian car wash industry? Like I personally myself, I want to jump in a bit, but I feel there's a need for everyone's equipment.
Yeah.
And there's a need for touch-free, friction, tunnels, the whole gamut. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think everyone sort of looks to the States and thinks whatever happens in the States can be emulated in Australia. And even the Pettit guys looking back the other way, they came to Australia and spent a bit of time around the Sydney show. We went around to a few sites and they were really excited about Australia and being able to sell machines here. I don't think what happens there directly crosses over to Australia. so much. I think we're probably 10 to 15 years behind them in the uptake of wash clubs and memberships and things like that. What we're seeing in the way of new sites that are being built, we're sort of seeing a bit of a mix, but we're getting quite a lot of inquiries for standalone pedal bays. So we've quoted a number of 2 and 3 bay, just express one bay sites. So the longer you can make the wash bar a pedal, the faster you can wash essentially. So stepping away from the self-serve side of things a little bit, I think when they look at the revenue that you can generate at say a $25 wash package at 3 and a bit minutes compared to $1 a minute in a wash bay, with the cost of land and construction, I think it looks like a better return on their investment. So we're really looking forward to doing a couple of those and bringing that sort of express model with the pedal. I think certain areas will do really, really well with express tunnels, and you're starting to see more tunnels coming to the market. We also install a few of those machines for other suppliers as well. I think the tricky thing is definitely the land and the construction costs. So managing that and making sure that you're getting the maximum return out of your investment, because it's not a cheap undertaking to start a new wash.
Certainly isn't, and it's only getting harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the future look like the next 12 months, Glenn? I'm sure you'll be at the car wash show in October.
Yeah, we are. We're very excited for that. So we're just in the middle of organising a machine to have set up at the show this time. So the Sydney show, we just missed out. A machine turned up a day after the show, which was a little frustrating. But this year, we'll make sure we have a machine set up. We've got full-time sales guy now as well. So that will take a little bit of the load of sales off me and let me focus on running the business and make sure everything's organised for the boys. So there'll be the 4 or 5 of us on site there and machine set up, and we'll bring some water treatment equipment and a few other things. So that'll be good fun.
That's exciting. Yeah, I felt sorry for you at the Sydney show. I mean, we do a lot of shows, and touch wood, we haven't had it yet, but we do see people that just miss out by it. And it's always by a day.
Yeah, it was only a second machine coming to Australia, so the container got delayed about 3.5 weeks, and we thought we had it all lined up nicely, but sort of worked out in our favour a little bit in the end. We had a bit more space on site, and I was really quite surprised by the amount of traffic through our site, and we've spent 2 days just talking the whole time, and I think that really helped set us up, and the support the ACWA's sort of shown us, and the opportunities that they give for us to get our branding out there has been amazing.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, there's maybe some people overseas. ACWA is an acronym for the Australian Car Wash Association. They're very proactive and a good promoter of all the suppliers and the members. You feel the same way there, Glenn, obviously?
Yeah, 100%. Everyone there has been great. And as I was saying, like without those events that those guys put on, like even the showcase events and things like that, it would have been very, very hard for us to just use social media or conventional web pages and things to get our brand out there. And a lot of those conversations have definitely resulted in sales and getting machines out in the market. And now I think we've got enough machines out and around that people can go and see them, experience them for themselves, and see what our workmanship's like. And that really started at the Sydney show there.
Yeah, as you know, I'm on the board of the Australian Car Wash Association, have been for a couple of years now, and a lot of people sort of criticise it, saying, what's in it for me? Well, if you listen to the Greg Cummings podcast, there's a lot in it for you when there's an emergency, but, crisis with water or something.
Yeah.
But I think you've identified the great thing is that I was lucky enough to go to the Melbourne one where you had your product on display, and that's where you had a catch-up. And there's probably 45 to 50 people there. The Queensland one had about 35 to 40. So there's 100 people you get to meet and mingle and have lunch afterwards, and very social.
Yeah. It's those one-on-ones, and I actually really like the smaller sort of showcase events where it's a little quieter, you get a little bit more time, and people will actually they seem to get a little bit more in depth in their questions and want to know more, and they've been great as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Adelaide show. I think it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. Bit different, Adelaide. Hope
yeah.
Had wine, so I'm sure we'll have one of those there, Glenn.
I love it over there, mate. I think we'll have a good time.
Be good. Now, how do people get on you? I'll put it in the show notes here, but your website and your email address.
Yeah, website is just www.carlsupplyco.com.au. And email address is just Glenn with two N's at carlsupplyco.com.au.
Right, perfect. And thanks for your time. And anything else you want to say to the millions of viewers we've got?
No, just come and say hello at the show and come have a look at the equipment. And yeah, we'll have some good show bags and goodies and merchandise to give away. So it should be good.
Terrific. Thank you. Thanks for your time, Glenn. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, boy. Appreciate it.
Bye.